I asked you what we're witnessing with Anthony Edwards, and I chose that word purposefully because it does appear that we're seeing something special unfold, Brian.
It's extremely rare for a player who's this young, age 22. I know he's in his fourth season, but he's still really young, to care this much about both ends of the court or be this talented at both ends of the court. You sometimes see guys who are very talented defensively, and they're not talented offensively. He is obviously extremely talented offensively. He could have the highlight of the night any night in the NBA. And this guy who cares so much about defense. And I think it's because he's been raised on a team that cares about defense. And finding two-way stars, it's hard. And finding two-way stars that are this engaging and who are this competitive and who want it and frankly do it with a smile. Now, I'm not saying he won't play with an edge or won't scowl every now and then, but he's a very electric personality with an electric game. And, he's somebody that is going to be on your television on Christmas Day and in the spring, I think, for many years to come.
So what did we see on Saturday that you think is repeatable here for them in this series?
So they had a very interesting game plan. They're more equipped to do this than other teams are before I talk about it. But I think it's important to realize that Chris Finch and Mike Inouye, who is the lead assistant, both used to coach in Denver. And so it's not like there's any secrets about the Nuggets, but these guys have been thinking about this series for a long time. And remember last year, they obviously went out in 6 games, but they didn't have Jaden McDaniels, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league because he punched the wall the last night of the season and broke his hand. They didn't have Naz Reid, who's that third 7-footer that gives them all those options on Jokic. He was out with injury too. Now that they got their full hand, their game plan really had 2 facets defensively, or actually overall. One, they attacked Jamal Murray on defense and put him in something like 60 or so pick and rolls. And the guy that they brought up to screen every single time was whoever Jokic was guarding. So Jokic and Jamal Murray were forced to defend something like 60 plus pick and rolls, which meant they had to work and expend energy on the defensive end. And also Murray's dealing with a leg injury, so they challenged him there. The second thing is defensively, they treated Jokic like a guard. Because he is a guard in a lot of ways. So repeatedly, not the whole game, but 7 or 8 times, they pressured him in the backcourt or picked him up full court with their big men. Now, you don't typically want your big man pressuring in the backcourt, but when you have 3 that you can rotate in, that's just it forced him to work a little harder. And again, you're working on wearing him out. And then they didn't really put Gobert. Go tomorrow. Gobert is probably going to win his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award. And so you'd say, well, you got Gobert, you put him on Jokic. But they didn't really. What they did was they would put one of the other big men on him. And there were times when Gobert did guard him, but they put one of the other defensive center 7-footers on him. And the reason was because they wanted Gobert back there to defend the rim, to defend those lobs for Aaron Gordon. And as a result, they had size on Jokic that he had to deal with, and they took away that play at the rim. You add it all up, and it ends up being a pretty effective game plan. Now, I think there will be counters that the Nuggets will run, and they'll look to do some other stuff with their role players, especially Michael Porter, who I think is playing well enough to merit more than 13 shots. But the game plan that they have is got some merit that could cause them some problems over the course of this year.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.